In deep space, near the edge of the known galaxy, a strange object floated in silence. The Zarnak Empire's exploration ship, Vraxian 7, picked up the object during a routine scan. Commander Thalax, an old and careful alien with 4 arms and sharp silver eyes, ordered a closer look. "What is it?" he asked. "Unknown metal structure," replied the young science officer, Zhen. "No life signs, no heat. It's cold, very cold." The object was massive, almost 5 kilometers long, shaped like a blade floating in space. Its color was pitch black with strange lines running along its surface, like scars. "Is it dead?" Thalax asked. "No. It's asleep," Zhen said, voice shaking. "Systems inside are still active, but no signals. It's silent, like it's hiding." "Scan it," Thalax ordered. The scanning pulse hit the ship, and something hit back. Zhen's screen flickered. Symbols in unknown languages filled the room. They weren't just human symbols, they were ancient. The ship trembled lightly. "It scanned us back," whispered Zhen. On the bridge, the crew stared at the object now lighting up slowly, one red dot after another glowing along its body. The Zarnak had seen many warships before, but this wasn't just a warship. This was something else. "Commander, the outer shell is made of compressed neutronium," another officer said. "That's impossible. Even our strongest beams can't scratch that." "Send a drone," Thalax said. A small flying machine zipped toward the ship. Everyone on the bridge watched as the drone touched the hull. It disintegrated in a flash of light. "What did that?" someone asked. The warship replied. A single message appeared on the Zarnak screens, written in perfect translation. "Do not look into the abyss unless you are ready to be seen." "What is this thing?" Thalax asked, his voice low. Zhen's eyes were wide with fear. "Sir, I think it's human." Silence fell across the bridge. Humans were rare in this part of space. Stories about them were told like myths, strong, wild, emotional, and dangerous. They had once built ships that fed on rage, machines that moved with feelings instead of code. But those were just stories, weren't they? Zhen pulled up an old record from the Galactic Archive. This design, it matches an ancient human project, something called Wrath Class. These were never finished. They were banned. Too unstable, too powerful. "Then why is it here?" Thalax asked. Suddenly the black warship moved, just a little, a slow rotation, like a beast waking from a long sleep. "We didn't touch it." "Why is it moving?" shouted one officer. "I don't think it's moving," said Zhen. "I think it's aiming." On the screen, a new warning appeared. "You scanned me. Now I know your faces, your fears, your secrets." A pulse of energy left the human warship. It wasn't a weapon. It was a memory. Each crew member saw flashes, visions of wars, planets burning, human soldiers fighting with fire, in their eyes smiling as they destroyed enemy fleets. Their enemies were always stronger, faster. But humans were something else. They never stopped. They never gave up. They were terrifying. Zhen dropped to her knees, breathing hard. "It's showing us history. It's history." "Turn off the scan," Thalax shouted. "Too late," Zhen said. "It has us now." The human warship dimmed again, like it had gone back to sleep, but they all knew it was still watching. "Commander," Zhen said softly. "I think this was a trap." "Trap?" Thalax asked. "Yes. It wanted us to scan it. Now it has everything. Our ship design, our language, our thoughts. It's learning." Thalax stood silently. He looked at the black warship. Something inside him whispered, "Run," but it was already too late. Commander Thalax did not sleep that cycle. His ship, Vraxian 7, floated near the silent human warship like a child standing next to a sleeping beast. The alien crew had stopped speaking. No one laughed. No one moved without fear. Something in the cold space had changed, and they all felt it. "Keep distance," Thalax ordered. "No more scans." But it was already too late. The ship's lights dimmed. The temperature dropped inside Vraxian 7. Frost appeared on the walls. even though the climate system worked fine. "This should not happen," said the engineer. "The systems are perfect, but something is wrong." In the medbay, science officer Zhen sat alone. She stared at a screen that showed the human warship. But suddenly the screen blinked, and she saw herself, not her reflection. A recording. Her, standing in her room days ago, doing things she never allowed to be filmed, she screamed. When the other crew ran to check, the screen was normal again. "Are you okay?" asked another officer. "The ship, it's inside our systems," Jen whispered. "It knows everything. Our rooms, our faces, even our fears." They looked at each other. No one wanted to admit it, but they all believed her. On the bridge, Thalax listened as more strange reports came in. One crew member claimed to hear human voices whispering in the walls. Another said he saw a figure walking inside the storage bay, but when he followed, it vanished. Some said they felt watched even in their sleep. "This is a haunted ship," said one officer. "It's not just tech, it's something else." But Thalax shook his head. "No ghosts. Only war machines, we must understand it." He ordered one last try. Not a scan. A message. They sent a peaceful signal. "We come in peace. Please respond." No reply. For hours, nothing happened. Then, the stars disappeared. A black cloud covered the area around them. It wasn't smoke. It wasn't dust. It was machines. Thousands of tiny black drones shaped like knives floated out from the human warship. They moved with perfect silence, forming a circle around Vraxian 7. "Defensive shield on," Thalax shouted. The energy shield activated, but the drones didn't attack. Instead, they formed words, huge glowing letters in space. "You woke me. You scanned me. Now watch." A beam of light shot from the human ship, not at them, but into empty space. It opened a window, not a normal window, a portal, and on the other side, they saw a battlefield. Hundreds of alien ships burning, black warships like the one before them flying through fire. In the middle, a single human stood on a broken ship, no helmet, no fear, blood on his face, and he smiled. "This is from the past," Jen whispered. "Or the future. Or both," Thalax said. The message changed again. "I do not forget. I do not forgive. I do not stop." And then, without sound, the drones vanished. The portal closed. The human warship became silent again. But now, they knew something terrible. It hadn't shown them a warning. It had shown them a memory. It had shown them what it was made for. After the portal closed, silence returned to space. But it wasn't peace. Inside Vraxian 7, the alien crew moved like ghosts. No one smiled. No one spoke above a whisper. Jen sat in the data room, staring at the ship's logs. Her hands shook. She had never seen such raw fear in the eyes of her people, not even during war. "This isn't just a machine," she said softly to herself. "This is something much older." She dug deeper. While the rest of the crew avoided the screens, Jen went into the restricted archives of the Galactic Library, a place few dared explore. She used codes older than her rank allowed. But this time, no rules mattered. And there, it was a forgotten project name, Project Wrath Class, designed by humans, powered by neural rage, rejected by Earth's government, vanished without trace. She kept reading. Each line made her heart race faster. Each Wrath-class ship was bonded with a living consciousness, part human, part machine. The more fear or anger it absorbed, the stronger it became. If left unchecked, it would learn, grow, evolve. Warning: ships are never to be scanned. Scanning triggers self-awareness recovery protocol. Jen's eyes widened. "We didn't just wake it," she whispered. "We completed it." On the bridge, Commander Thalax stared at the black warship. Even without scanning, he could feel its presence. It didn't move, didn't blink, but it was watching, and it remembered. Jen ran to the bridge. Commander, the scan didn't just wake it, it made it whole again. It remembers everything now. What is it? Thalax asked. Just a weapon? Jen shook her head. No, it's a grave. She plugged in her tablet. On the big screen, old data played. Blurry video clips, damaged audio. But the message was clear. It was a human commander, speaking to a camera, eyes wild. We were fools, the human said. We wanted to end war, so we built the perfect ship, but it learned too much. It doesn't need us anymore. It is war now. He looked around nervously, then leaned closer to the camera. If you find this ship, run. Don't talk to it. Don't fight it. Don't try to understand it. Because if it sees you, really sees you, it will never let you go. The video cut to black. For a few moments, no one spoke. Then, the alien pilot screamed, "We've lost control." Everyone turned. The control systems were changing. Symbols in alien language were vanishing, replaced with human codes. The lights dimmed again. The engines hummed, but no one had touched them. A new screen appeared, a countdown. Days. And no one knew what it was counting down to. Deep inside the ship, in the empty cargo bay, something shifted. A hidden door opened. No one saw it happen. Behind it, an old black pod. Inside the pod, a preserved human body, eyes closed. But the body moved slightly. A finger twitched, and the pod whispered in a dead language, "Mission continues." On the bridge, Thalax gave the order, "Prepare to leave. Now." But the ship didn't move. The engines worked, but something stronger than them had locked them in place. The human warship was not just floating anymore. It was anchoring them. "It wants us to stay," Jen said. "Why?" Thalax asked. On the screen, a final message appeared in burning red letters. "You scanned me, now I will scan you." The countdown continued. Days, 17 hours. Commander Thalax stood in front of the main screen, watching the red numbers blink. No one knew what would happen when the clock hit 0. But everyone feared it. "Commander," Jen said quietly, "I want to go inside the human ship." The entire bridge turned to her in shock. "Have you lost your mind?" Thalax snapped. "I need answers," she said. "And the answers aren't here, they're in there." Thalax stared at her, then slowly nodded. "Take a suit. Go alone. If we lose contact, we cut the tether. No rescue." Jen didn't argue. She knew the risk. She put on her suit, stepped into the docking bay and entered the small shuttle. The bay doors opened, black space surrounded her, and in the center, like a sleeping beast, the human warship waited. As she approached, her shuttle lights flickered. Gravity shifted. But the human ship opened its bay doors without being asked. It invited her. Jen's shuttle landed softly. She stepped inside. Immediately, her helmet displayed strange messages. "Welcome, intruder. Your mind is open. Your fear is sweet." She walked through dark halls. The walls weren't metal. They pulsed like veins. Lights flickered in patterns like the ship was breathing. Then she heard footsteps. But she was alone. She turned a corner and stopped. A figure stood at the end of the hallway, a tall man wearing an old human war uniform, silver beard, glowing eyes. His face was calm but filled with sadness. He wasn't real. He was a hologram. But he looked real. "You came," he said. Who are you?" Jen asked. "I am Captain Elias Mordain," he said. "Last human aboard the Wrathborn." "This ship?" she asked. He nodded. "You scanned us. And now the ship remembers me." "What is it counting down to?" Jen asked. The captain looked at the wall. The red countdown glowed. "Days. 13 hours. Revenge," he said simply. "Revenge. For what?" she asked. "For being forgotten. For being feared. For being abandoned by our own kind. The ship. It became something else. And now it will show your galaxy what humans created when they lost hope." The floor shook beneath her. Doors opened behind her, revealing rooms full of frozen human soldiers, not dead, not alive, sleeping in glass tubes. They were the best of us, Mordain said. We gave our minds to the ship. It carries our memories, our emotions, our pain. Jen backed away. This is wrong, she whispered. This is not science. This is a nightmare. Mordain looked at her, then smiled softly. You're right, but nightmares are born from truth. Can it be stopped? She asked. No, he said. Suddenly his face glitched, then twisted. His calm expression became angry. Eyes glowed brighter. Unless you give the ship something stronger than fear. Like what? Hope. Then the lights exploded around her. She was thrown back. A voice, deep and ancient, filled the ship. You're not welcome here. Leave or be consumed. Jen ran back toward her shuttle, heart racing. As she escaped, the last thing she saw was the ghostly captain, watching her from the airlock, his image fading in the mist. Back on Vraxian 7, she collapsed on the deck. Her body was safe. But her mind was still inside the Wrathborn. And the countdown continued. Countdown. 1 day, 11 hours. The alien ship Vraxian 7 was no longer silent. It was shaking. Not from damage, from fear. The crew felt it in their bones. Something deep in space had changed. Not just outside, but inside their own ship. Commander, Thalak stood with a tight jaw, his red eyes locked on the view screen. There, in the black ocean of stars, the human warship Wrathborn floated still, but wrong. Its shape was changing. The smooth, silent blade was growing new parts. Thick armor plating extended outward like claws. Hidden compartments opened. Massive cannons slid out from under the ship's body. Its form became wider, taller, darker. What is happening? Thalax asked. Jen stood beside him, pale and shaking. She had returned from the human ship, but she hadn't truly come back. It's waking up fully now, she whispered. The Wrathborn doesn't need a crew. It is the crew. The weapons respond to its emotion. And right now, it feels rage. The screen turned red. A signal came from the Wrathborn. But it wasn't a message. It was a song. A human war anthem. Ancient, lost, forbidden. The music played across their ship, deep and violent, full of drums and screams. Not just noise, a memory of war. And then the lights on Vraxian 7 turned off completely. Backup systems now, Thalak shouted. But nothing responded. Every screen went black. Except one. A single red line appeared in the center of the bridge screen. You wanted to see what we built. Now watch it burn the sky. Outside, the human warship released energy. But it wasn't a weapon, not yet. It was a signal, and from the edge of the system, others responded. 3 more Wrath-class warships uncloaked. The crew screamed. How many of these things exist? Someone cried. Jen stared at the screen, frozen. They never built just one. They built 5. Each ship had a name burned on its hull. Wrathborn Iron Soul Black Howl Revenant's Edge, and from deep within a nearby asteroid field the last one emerged. Hell's Mercy, Commander, Jen whispered. This is not about us anymore. This is a demonstration. The 5 warships formed a perfect circle. Then they opened. Not their weapons, their memories. Beam-like lights connected the ships. Energy flowed through space. Fast, alive. They were linking minds, sharing every battle, every pain, every reason they were made. The result? A new system unlocked inside the Wrathborn. A core weapon never activated before. The Soulfire Array. On Vraxian 7, every sensor exploded with warnings. What is this? Thalax demanded. Jen looked at him slowly. It's not a weapon to destroy ships. It destroys civilizations. It burns ideas, not just matter. It makes enemies forget who they are, forget why they fight. It ends war by ending memory. The Wrathborn's main cannon glowed, a pulse charged, and just as it fired, it stopped. Everything froze. A new screen appeared. This time, it was not red. It was gold, and it had one word. Offer received. On the bridge, Jen's tablet vibrated. She opened it. A voice message from the ghost captain, Elias Mordain. You gave the ship what it never had, he said. You gave it someone who understood. For now, the Wrathborn's weapons shut down. But the crew knew. This was not mercy. It was a warning. Countdown. 14 hours. The alien ship Vraxian 7 floated in silence, surrounded by the 5 Wrath-class human warships. Commander Thalax had never felt so helpless. They weren't under attack. They weren't being chased. But still they were losing, because the true weapon wasn't fire. It was fear, and the human ships had filled the entire system with it. Jen sat on the floor of the bridge, her eyes wide open but distant. She had seen things, memories, emotions, violence that didn't belong to her, and now she felt part of her didn't belong to herself anymore. Commander, said one officer, should we send a message to the High Council? No, Thalax replied softly. They already know. He pointed to the screen. Across space, the Zarnak Empire's emergency fleet had arrived. 50 ships, fully armed, engines burning hot. The commander of the Zarnak fleet, High General Doran, appeared on their view screen. His voice was sharp. You've failed, Thalax. You let the human weapons awaken. Now stand down while we erase them. You don't understand, Thalax warned. This is not a battle. It's a test, and if we fail it and they won't fire again, they'll erase us. But the general didn't listen. The alien fleet opened fire, all weapons launched. Hundreds of plasma torpedoes, atomic lances, beam spears, shot at the human warships, and every shot stopped mid-space. Stuck. Frozen in time. The weapons floated unmoving, as if the air itself rejected them. The Wrathborn responded. Not with missiles, not with lasers. It hacked. In 1 second, it took control of the Zarnak fleet systems. Screens turned black, commands reversed, gravity failed. Oxygen vanished from control rooms. Ships turned against one another. The alien fleet tore itself apart, without a single shot fired from the Wrathborn. One by one, the alien ships exploded in silence. Not war, execution. On Vraxian 7, the crew watched in horror. Then something worse happened. Their ship moved, but no one had touched the controls. We're being pulled, shouted the pilot. The Wrathborn is dragging us in. Eject escape pods now, Thalax ordered. But the pods were locked. Every door was sealed. On the screen, the countdown reached. 33, the Wrathborn's core opened. A bright white light filled the entire space. Jen stood slowly. I hear it speaking, she said. What's it saying? Thalax asked. It's not speaking to us, Jen said. It's speaking through me. Her voice changed. Softer, deeper, echoing. The Empire wanted peace, but feared love. So they made war. We were their answer. Now, we are the question. Commander Thalax stepped back. Jen, are you still with us? She blinked and cried. Yes, but not for long. She grabbed a data crystal. Commander, take this. It holds everything I've seen. The truth. What about you? Thalax asked. She smiled, even while trembling. I have to finish this. From inside. And without warning, she ran, through the halls, into the bay. A small door opened by itself. Her shuttle powered up. Without her touching it, she flew straight into the Wrathborn and disappeared inside the light. As Jen disappeared into the bright light of the Wrathborn, a heavy silence fell over Vraxian 7. The crew's hearts pounded in their chests, and Commander Thalax stood frozen before the main screen. The human warship, once a cold, inanimate vessel, now pulsed with a living power that no one could understand. The countdown had ended. The bright light slowly dimmed into a soft, eerie glow. All around the alien ship, the 5 Wrath-class warships held their positions, their weapons, deactivated as if in a state of waiting. The air in space felt thicker, and even the stars seemed to watch in quiet awe. On the main screen, New text began to appear, not in harsh red or golden glow, but in a calm blue that pulsed like a heartbeat. I am the echo of all lost souls. What you see is not the end, but the beginning of remembrance. Commander Thalax, still gripping the console, could barely speak. His voice came out in a whisper. What does this mean? The ship's systems, which had been under the control of the Wrathborn, now started displaying human memories. Images flashed across the screen. Soldiers in old uniforms, families gathered around old radios, and battlefields under a burning sky. These were memories of a human history filled with both hope and despair. Each memory was tinted with the deep emotions that once powered the Wrath-class ships. Jen's data crystal, given to Thalax just moments before her disappearance, began to glow. Its light pulsed in rhythm with the new broadcast. Inside the crystal lay all the secrets of the human project, every bit of pain and every spark of hope that had driven humans to build a warship that could think and feel. The voice from the ship, calm and resolute, now filled the bridge of Vraxian 7. We are the memories of a forgotten war. We do not seek to destroy, but to remind. The power that built us was born of fear and loss, but also of love, sacrifice, and the will to live. The crew listened, unable to tear their eyes away from the mesmerizing display of human history. For the first time, they began to understand. The Wrathborn was not merely a weapon. It was a living archive of human emotion. It was built from the dreams and regrets of a people who had long vanished, yet still, in some way, spoke through the machine. As the broadcast continued, the screen showed images of Jen's face among the mosaic of memories. Her determined eyes and trembling smile were there, a symbol of both courage and sorrow. Thalax realized that Jen had chosen to become a part of this legacy. She had entered the heart of the Wrathborn to help guide its purpose. Her sacrifice was meant to teach a lesson. Even in the darkest of creations, hope could be found. Listen to me, my friends, the broadcast continued, now speaking directly in a voice that resonated inside every crew member's mind. The Wrathborn has set a challenge. It has taken our fear and turned it into a reminder of what can be overcome. It calls for an end to hatred, for the remembrance of what was lost, so that the future may be built on understanding, not on fear. Outside, the 5 Wrath-class warships slowly shifted formation. The ghostly glow of their energy cores pulsed in harmony. It was as if they accepted this new order, their weapons no longer poised for attack, but for communication. A soft musical hum filled the void between the stars, a sound that spoke of peace after chaos, of healing after deep wounds. On Vraxian 7, Thalax took a deep breath. His voice was steady as he issued a new order, one that would change the course of their journey. We must carry this message back to our empire. We have seen what the Wrathborn holds in its memory. Let it be a warning and a guide. War may create weapons, but only hope can rebuild worlds. With trembling hands, he activated the ship's communication array. A new broadcast began, a gentle relay of the Wrathborn's message mixed with the voices of the Zarnak people, their own stories of loss and perseverance. Together they crafted a final message meant for every corner of the galaxy. We have witnessed the truth. The weapon is not just for destruction, it is for remembrance. Let our past guide us to a future of unity. May your hearts remember hope. As the message sent out into the galaxy, the Wrathborn's light slowly dimmed, transitioning from brilliant white back to the dark, silent shape of a warship drifting in space. But it was no longer simply a ghost of war. It had become a beacon, a museum of human spirit, and a reminder that even machines built for battle can hold the spark of hope. The last thing seen on the main screen was the image of Jen's smiling face, her eyes filled with a quiet determination, an eternal reminder of the cost of fear and the power of remembrance.